A fun vacation in Shreveport, Louisiana turns into an absolute nightmare.
I'm calling for shots fired.
The place looked like a war zone.
There's been a shooting.
A young detective with a relentless drive.
Never give up. I'm gonna keep going until I get some kind of answers.
Must piece together.
There are two different guns.
One of the most challenging cases he's ever worked.
Unbelievable.
This was a tough one. There was nothing connecting the victim to the shooter.
Nothing is making sense.
That's him. That's the guy right here.
A case that appears to be open and shut.
So you don't know anything about a shooting that occurred on that date? No, sir.
But it's completely upside down.
I've recovered a firearm.
It's not until a fateful twist
Oh my God.
that the true killer is revealed.
I'm working a homicide here.
You can't make this stuff up. It was that unbelievable.
We're in Shreveport, Louisiana, and it's known in the hip-hop world, Ratchet City.
Being here in Shreveport takes me back to my very first homicide. My first victim was shot in Atlanta, tried to make it back home to Texas, and died on a Trailways bus in Shreveport, Louisiana. We're driving through the west side of the city, a section known as Monkhouse. The police are called out here on the regular due to the high crime rate.
And on one hot, sticky night in the summer of 2020, that hotel right over there turned a family's vacation into a total nightmare.
Shreveport Police, what's your emergency?
I'm calling from the front desk at Country Inn and Suites, and I'm calling for shots fired.
Police raced to the scene, and they've got multiple people shot. Cops scour the area, but there's no suspect to be found.
Shreveport Dispatch then calls Detective Kenny Thompson and assigns him to this case.
I'm in like a deep sleep, but I have a very loud, annoying cell phone that's specifically a work phone, so the only time that phone rings is for something very serious, something important.
Hello?
There's been a shooting.
Where?
A hotel over in Monkhouse.
They gave me a brief synopsis of what was going on, and I have 3 black males that's been shot, 2 life-threatening, and 1 that was serious injury.
Be there soon.
So normally what helps me wake up, my rap music, I'll turn it up extra loud, and that gets me going.
Let's go.
I was born and raised in Shreveport. Growing up, I witnessed a lot of violent crimes, but I always wanted to pretty much be a part of the solution. I began my law enforcement career in 2013 with the Shreveport Police Department. And when I was 25 years old, in 2017, I got selected to transfer to the Homicide Division. When I caught this case, I had been assigned to the Homicide Unit for roughly 3.5 years. I had a 100% clearance rate in homicide.
100% solve rate is incredible. That's a testimony to who Kenny Thompson is. He was a detective before he ever put a badge on.
There's always some luck involved in homicide investigation, but you gotta put yourself in the right position to receive that luck. Kenny Thompson was on all the right intersections, all the street corners, making that luck land right in his lap. That's hard to pull off in this business.
After 2 in the morning, Detective Thompson arrives at the crime scene.
I like challenges. The deceased victims, they don't have a voice anymore, so basically you're that voice and you have to figure out what happened to them.
Fill me in.
Sir, we have 3 black male victims. They were taken to the hospital with multiple gunshot wounds.
One of the gunshot victims had passed away.
Detective Kenny Thompson learns that the victim is 22-year-old Hayshawn Collins.
Hayshawn had been shot multiple times in the chest area.
One of the other victims, he was shot several times in the chest area as well. His status was considered life-threatening at that time. And the third victim was considered a serious injury, but not life-threatening.
All crime scenes are telling a story. They have a first chapter and they have an ending. But the most important part is going to be the body of that story.
It kind of looked like a war zone. I saw multiple 9mm shell casings grouped pretty tight together. I could tell from the placement of the shell casings that my shooter was standing in the doorway of the hotel. I could tell my victims were actually running away because of the blood trail.
Make sure we enter those shell cases into Nibbins.
Yes, sir.
That stands for National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. It's a program that can analyze shell casings and cases against other known weapons to see if there's a match.
Maybe I'll get a hit for another crime.
If we recover a weapon, we could compare to that, and we're able to see if that was actually fired from that weapon. I was like, this case is probably going to take some time to get solved because I really don't have anything right now at this moment.
So my only witnesses are at the hospital?
No, we have one.
Detective Kenny Thompson just got a gift that fell out the sky.
She's over here.
He's got a heartbeat, a living and breathing witness that saw everything.
I'm Detective Thompson.
Shauna.
Her boyfriend was the victim with the non-life-threatening injuries.
My boyfriend Jason. His brother is Hayshawn. We were in a big group.
This witness, Shauna, says that she arrived in Shreveport on vacation with 8 other adult couples and a bunch of children.
And what did you all do when you got here?
We checked in. We went and grabbed something to eat.
She says there's a party going on the 3rd floor of this hotel, and from that party, there's a litany of people crawling all around the property.
We were headed out when things popped off.
They were leaving the hotel when a female stopped Hayshawn's and Jason's cousin Darnell. She was complimenting his tattoos.
He basically told her, you know, he's a tattoo artist, and they had a conversation with her.
There was a guy. He got pissed. It was his girlfriend. I don't know.
This guy, he wasn't happy about it, and he wanted Darnell to know, I ain't good with you talking to my lady.
And they can tell it was tension, so one of the victims' group members pretty much told him, hey, let's go.
This family group aren't looking for trouble. They're there to have a good, peaceful vacation.
We tried to leave, but this guy just wouldn't let it go.
He's following them through the lobby. He's posturing, mean-mugging them.
Shauna's boyfriend and his cousin pretty much told the guys, hey, we're not here for that, but if you want to fight, we can fight.
Hayshawn tried to break it up.
Hayshawn was actually the peacemaker. He actually goes up and is the bigger man. He tries to defuse the situation, and it seems like it's done.
They all agreed to dap each other up and call it a truce, and pretty much walk away after that.
We thought it was over, but it wasn't.
As they're walking away, the suspect said that he was disrespected. Sometimes people feel like they're disrespected if you look at them the wrong way or if you stare at them too long. You know, it's just nonsense.
This punk, this coward decided that he was going to exact revenge the only way he knew how, being ignorant with his finger.
And then that's when the shots were fired from there.
When all the dust settled, Hayshawn was dead. His brother Jason was shot in the arm and in the leg, and their cousin Darnell, he was also in real bad shape.
I just ducked and ran for cover.
Now, was there one shooter?
One, but there was definitely a guy with him.
What did the shooter look like?
He was black. He definitely had dreads.
The description she gave, it was very vague. A black male with dreads, it's like 90% of Shreveport, so you don't really have much to go off of.
Is there anything else you can think of?
I don't know anything else.
Detective Thompson has an eyewitness and a description of a guy's some shell casings. It's not much to start with.
Right now, this case is looking like Mission Impossible.
We have 3 black male victims.
Homicide Detective Kenny Thompson investigates the shooting death of victim Hayshawn Collins. outside of a hotel in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Make sure we enter those shell cases in Snibbins.
Physical evidence on scene was spent shell casings.
We were heading out when things popped off.
A witness comes forward who actually saw the shooting.
We tried to leave, but this guy just wouldn't let it go.
The motive seems to be some type of minor beef. I mean, this murder is completely senseless.
What did the shooter look like?
He definitely had dreads.
There's not a whole lot to work with to identify the killer.
I don't know anything else.
Detective Thompson's in a tough spot here. But this brother's undefeated in solving murders, so he ain't giving up.
If you see anything, give me a call, okay?
Had to put in whatever I had to do to get this solved.
Thank you.
They were truly innocent victims. The female from the victim, Hayshawn's group, told me that this party was going on the 3rd floor. So I went to management and asked her if they had some kind of login sheets.
I need a list of all your hotel guests.
The hotel let me know that everybody that checked in didn't show IDs.
This is the list.
The bad thing about that, not checking the IDs, anybody could just pretty much walk in and give a fake name, and then we have no record of who was actually there because the cameras wasn't working.
Even with the search of the guest log, Kenny's rolling the dice. He doesn't know what's going to happen, but he's shooting for it.
I got that entire log sheet for the hotel. I specifically pulled everybody because we didn't know exactly what room the party was in, but we know it was on the 3rd floor.
Thanks.
He's got to sit down and go name for name, and that's a lot of work to do. Kenny has his work cut out for him.
Detective Thompson headed to the hospital to check on the other 2 victims.
He learned that Hayshawn's cousin, Darnell, who had been in critical condition, is now stable. So thankfully, it appeared that this case would remain a single homicide.
But right now, Darnell was in the ICU and unable to speak. The 3rd victim, Hayshawn's brother, was in recovery. He was able to speak with Detective Thompson.
He provided the exact same story that Detective Thompson heard from Shauna.
He even provided the same description of the shooter.
It's always good when your witnesses' stories match.
He also believed that the police had a picture of the suspect. He'd be able to identify him.
Detective Thompson then headed back to the office to begin the not-so-glamorous part of being a homicide detective.
That's when you gotta roll up your sleeves and get elbow deep in paperwork. Over the next couple of days, Kenny Thompson digs through all 100 names listed on the guest log.
I'm just checking any and all police database, the DMV, just seeing if I can pull up pictures and pretty much see if anybody matches the descriptions.
Where are my dreads?
Kenny Thompson is looking for a black male with dreads, but there's a ton of black males in Shreveport with dreads, so he's got a lot of work to do.
Here we go.
The only thing I can do at this point is pick out people from those pictures and possibly put them in lineups and show them to the witnesses.
Right now, Kenny needs to sit down with the witness, Shauna, put these lineups in front of her and see if she can pick out a shooter.
This is Detective Jones.
I get a detective that's not familiar with the case at all to show these lineups.
I need you to take a look at these and tell me if anyone looks familiar.
And it was brilliant for Kenny to do that because this detective knows nothing. It's a blind lineup. No defense attorney can now challenge the fact that it was coerced or you guided the witness in picking the suspect.
Nobody here.
All right. Got another one. Take your time.
I was watching her as she was looking through the lineup. She's kind of scanning it, and it's like a tense moment. Sometimes people don't pick people out of lineups.
No.
She just didn't recall anybody that looked familiar.
Last one.
Detective Kenny Thompson, he's taking a shot in the dark. He's only going by people that checked in a hotel that week. This is a form of due diligence.
That's him. That's the guy right here.
You sure?
Yes.
Shauna, she picks out Aaron Mayweather, which is one of the guys that rented a room on the 3rd floor.
Kenny Thompson is absolutely excited. This is the moment he's waiting for.
He was there, but he wasn't the guy I saw shooting. He was the guy standing next to the guy firing the gun.
Even though Shauna hasn't identified the shooter, he's getting one step closer to closure.
So they both got dreads. And I'm like, we finally got something. You know, we got something to work with.
Thank you for your time, Miss Shauna.
Although she's not saying this guy's a shooter, but he was with the shooter. He left with the shooter. That's big for me.
Think it's time for a warrant?
Not yet.
Kenny has enough probable cause to get a murder warrant for this person, but he doesn't. He does his due diligence, and he is patient because he knows he's got a lot more work to do.
This Detective Thompson?
It was very easy to track him down. He was cooperative and willing to come in and speak with me.
So later that day, Aaron Mayweather shows up at the police department for an interview.
This is during the height of COVID. Everyone's wearing masks. The witness and Detective Thompson.
Do you wish to make a statement and talk about this shooting that I'm investigating?
The goal of getting a suspect in for the initial interview is to lock them into their truth, whatever they want to say, even the lies. Because later on, when you start to prove those lies wrong, they can't deny they said what they said. It's on video, it's on audio.
I gotta ask you straight out, just for the record. So you don't know anything about a shooting that occurred on that date? No, sir. I asked him where he was during the shooting. He told me he was at work, but what was really weird about that, I never gave him a time of the shooting, so I'm thinking like, you know, how do you know you were at work?
Detective Thompson actually confronts Mr. Mayweather, and he just blurts out, "I'm always at work." That's a bit suspect. Detective Thompson kind of just rolls with it, and he gives Mr. Mayweather the exact date and time.
You just told me you wasn't there, so do you remember what you was doing Sunday morning at 1 in the morning?
Work, at work.
Mayweather sticks to his story. And in any good interview, if a suspect just continues to stick to their story and you have hard evidence, you got to show it to him.
I said, well, you're telling me you're at work, but I have someone that pointed you out of a photographic lineup that says you were there at the shooting.
That's the guy right here.
And his reply to that was, I get that a lot. He said, they say it's a guy that looks like me around the city. I must have a twin. I've heard that several times, you know, when I bring suspects in, so I'm thinking like, okay, this is BS.
Detective Thompson's not believing him one bit.
You are hereby under, as you can see, an underlying investigation.
Detective Kenny Thompson is interviewing Aaron Mayweather. He's a potential suspect in the murder of Hayshawn Collins.
At 1 a.m. he was at work.
Yes, sir.
He denies any involvement and claims he was at work when the shooting happened.
My shift starts at 11 p.m.
Okay.
Ends at 7 a.m.
Detective Thompson thinks he's lying, and that's because he was listed on the hotel's guest registry.
That's him. That's the guy right here.
And a witness picked him out of the lineup as being with the shooter.
So you don't know anything about a shooting that occurred on that date?
No, sir.
Felt like he was hiding something.
It's time for Detective Thompson to dig in and get the truth.
When was the last time you actually been to a hotel and got a room in your name?
Hell, I can't remember. That's something I don't do.
Okay.
That's why I'm kind of so confused about it all. They got my name in a room?
Yeah, that name was on the room number, yeah. So yes.
That's crazy.
I'm like, holy crap, here we go again.
Detective Thompson then steers the conversation back to Mayweather's work, which he says is at a gas station.
What do you do?
Like, clean up or take out the trash, bathroom.
I got you. How do you clock in? Like, what's the form of clocking in? He said that you can clock in and out on your phone from anywhere. So at that point, you know, it's like red flag for me.
This brother's saying he's got an actual app on his phone where he can just click in. That's awfully convenient.
That doesn't alibi him out.
Well, I'm gonna show you my time thing. Okay. I'll clock in at 10:57.
I was thinking like, okay, maybe he clocked in at the hotel and was enjoying the party when he was supposed to be at work, but maybe he is showing at work on the clock. I asked him, is there anybody that can verify that he was at work? He said we would have to go there and, look at the cameras.
At this point, Detective Thompson feels like he's got enough, so he ends the interview.
If you was at work, man, they vouched for you. You have nothing to worry about. So I'm not going to hold you here. I'm going to let you go ahead and go back to work, man. I didn't have enough to hold him to arrest him, so I just got a statement from him. I had to let him go that day, and I continued my investigation to verify the things that he said.
Yo, Kenny, what's up?
What's up, my guy?
We met with Detective Thompson to see how he was going to tag this guy either in or out of his investigation. How confident are you that Aaron Mayweather is your suspect?
Super confident that he's the suspect. He told me he works at a gas station, which is about maybe 20 minutes from where the homicide occurred. Once I let him go, as he's leaving, I'm leaving. I'm going straight to his job.
Not hesitating.
That's it.
Going straight over there to verify what he's saying.
That's it. Once I get to his job, I see cameras out there, so jumping up and down again. I'm like, okay, we got some cameras this time, so speak with management. But the manager's just like really rude and standoffish with me and told me, he just didn't know if they work. He don't know how to work and pretty much kick rocks.
20 minutes have transpired when you left Aaron Mayweather till you arrive at his job. There's plenty of time for this manager to get the call from Aaron saying, hey man, the cops are coming, cover for me. Isn't that what you were thinking?
Most definitely.
So the manager's playing backup for his running back.
Most definitely.
He's definitely blocking back.
That's
he
exactly.
Wants nothing. He's not trying to let you cross the line.
That's exactly my mind frame at the time.
What are you thinking at this point? What are you going to do with this?
So at this point, I made my mind up that he's not going to help me, so I'm going to have to go do other things, which I actually obtained a search warrant to go in there and shut down and pull the whole video system.
That's what's
up. And I actually called management and, told them what I was about to do. And at that point, the management told me they could get the video for me from a remote location.
Oh, wow.
Imagine that. All that screen they're putting up, and all of a sudden, from a remote location, they could pull the video when you start threatening to take their system out.
Crazy.
Definitely.
Clever move. Clever move.
I like that. A few days later, Detective Thompson receives the video.
They provided me with the time frames that I was looking for as far as for his job, and I was able to review that footage.
Here we go.
Right now, this is it. The moment of truth for Detective Thompson.
His whole investigation hinges on this footage.
If the footage doesn't show Aaron Mayweather at work, then bam, this brother's caught in a lie. There's no more alibi.
But if this guy was really at work like he said he was, Kenny's back to square one with 0 suspects and 0 leads.
I'll be damned.
If you was at work, man, they vouched for you. You have nothing to worry about.
The #1 suspect in the murder of Hayshawn Collins is using his job as an alibi.
Here we go.
Detective Thompson's about to find out for sure whether or not his suspect is lying.
I'll be damned.
Detective Kenny Thompson finally gets this video. And it turns out this brother Mayweather is actually sitting at work.
Unbelievable.
He was at work during that whole time. Like, I watched from every angle. I watched the parking lot. He never left.
You all right?
Suspects in the clear.
He can't be at 2 places at one time. And the place where he worked from the crime scene was well over 20 minutes to get there. There was no way that, he could even just slip away.
But the witness picked him out.
Yeah, but you know how that goes.
When you're showing lineups of witnesses, it's a toss-up. Sometimes they make mistakes.
I mean, but his name was on the room, too.
I know the odds are crazy.
And what that means is that this room was rented by a different Aaron Mayweather.
I'm back to square one.
What's the coincidence? Somebody picked him out of a lineup. His name's on the hotel receipt. This guy comes in and tells me he must have a twin. I was totally shocked.
You know what that means? My girl Shauna is done.
Right now, Shauna can't be used for arrest purposes. She can be used later for court just as a fact witness on which she observed at the time it happened.
At least you still have your other 2 Vics.
Yeah.
If Kenny identifies another suspect, he's got surviving victims that actually saw what happened.
At this point, I have a 100% solve rate, and I'm thinking if I had one that probably wasn't going to get solved, I was thinking at that moment it might be this one.
After striking out on Aaron Mayweather, that's when the case went ice cold.
Detective Thompson contacted Crime Stoppers for some help. They issued a press release on the case.
And our boy Kenny prayed someone would call and give him a lead to chase.
The outreach paid off. An anonymous tipster reached out
and stated that a guy named Peanut was involved in the murder.
When we worked cases in Atlanta, Peanut was a very popular street name.
And it was the exact same thing in Shreveport.
In fact, when he ran the name through the database, he ended up getting about 100 guys named Peanut. That's part of the job.
It's not sexy, but Detective Thompson started doing background on all the individuals.
And he was getting nowhere fast.
A few days later, another tip comes in.
Got a hot one for you. Peanut's got a real name.
Their tip said that Dontrell Jameson was the suspect.
That's a jumping off spot.
I looked up a Dontrell Jameson. He was a real person, but he didn't have any ties to the name Peanut. So I started searching family members, family history. They had someone connected with that same last name Jameson, which was a Darion Jameson that goes by Peanut.
Darion goes by Peanut? He's 17?
What's he look like?
Yeah, I'll check.
First, I saw his picture in our database, and he didn't have any dreads or anything like the people said, but, you know, appearances changed.
All right, hang on.
I started looking on, like, social media sites and stuff, and there was a Facebook page for him where he actually had dreads.
Let's go talk to this guy.
All right, I'm getting his info now.
I looked up Darion Jamerson. I could see criminal history.
He's in the win.
Darion is already on the run because he's an escapee from the juvenile detention center.
I'm not gonna sit on my hands. Come on, man.
Detective Thompson has no idea if this lead is legit, but he gets out of the office to hit the streets to see if he can make something out of it.
Have a look.
I feel pretty confident enough to go ahead and put Darion Jamerson, aka Peanut, into a lineup and go ahead and show those lineups to the victims that were out there that night.
Kenny does the same thing he did with witness Shauna and has a different detective show the new lineup to Darnell.
In the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know, hey, this may be a good tip.
This is such a nerve-wracking moment for any detective.
If he picks the wrong guy, he'll have no witnesses.
Yeah. Which one?
And the case will be dead in the water.
Got a hot one for you.
Shreveport detective Kenny Thompson is working a new lead in the Hayshawn Collins murder investigation.
Peanut's got a real name.
The shooter may be a 17-year-old guy named Darion Jameson. He goes by the nickname Peanut.
Have a look.
Detective Thompson puts his photo in a lineup and has it shown to one of the surviving victims.
Anybody look familiar?
It feels like a make or break moment in this case.
Detective Thompson's on pins and needles right now.
Yeah. Which one? That's him.
He selected image number 2, which was Darion Jamerson. He indicated that that's the person that shot him and the other victims at the scene. When he says that, I'm just, you know, like jumping for joy in my mind. I'm like, you know, this is a hit. This has to be it.
Detective Kenny Thompson also meets with Hayshawn's brother, the other victim.
He was able to select Darion Jamerson out of the lineup as the person that shot him as well. It's like everything's starting to come together now, so I'm feeling really good about this case.
Detective Thompson was more positive than ever that Darion Jameson was his guy. He just had to track his brother down.
He was also working on finding addresses for Darion and his known associates. He was trying to find out as much as he could about him and who he hangs out with.
Sometimes as a homicide detective, when you're searching hard for a suspect and you catch a lucky break and the guy falls right in your lap. That happened with Detective Thompson in this case. It happened in one of the most crazy and random ways.
N27 is in pursuit, I-10 towards Elysian Field.
We had an active police chase, and I remember listening to it over the radio. He described this vehicle as a white Nissan Altima.
One black male suspect. He's on Route 40.
It sounds like something out of an action movie.
Normally when somebody's running like that, you know, especially in broad daylight, it's probably something serious.
Heading into a neighborhood. I'm backing off.
He decided to call the police chase off for safety reasons because the vehicle was traveling at a very high rate of speed and the time of day in the area that it was in, and children possibly getting out of school around that time. Moments later, there was a call coming in on 911.
There's been an accident.
A vehicle matching that same description just wrecked out and crashed into a telephone pole, pretty much wrapped around the pole.
The suspect fled on foot.
Kenny Thompson doesn't know who was in the car, whether it was one or two people or more, but there's a blood trail left.
Looks like somebody had some serious injuries in there.
Dispatch, I've recovered a firearm.
Officers found his 9mm weapon right outside the crashed car on the ground.
Requesting assistance.
He asked for a violent crimes detective because of the nature of the chase, and there was a firearm involved, so.
This is Detective Thompson.
The way Shreveport PD does business, homicide detectives don't just deal with just homicide, they deal with all violent crimes. So Kenny Thompson himself gets assigned to this case.
Bag the gun and get it to the lab to be analyzed. Copy.
Any firearms they know homicide likes to get them to compare them for any cases that we may have. We could get like DNA off of the firearm as well.
You've got crime lab candy. You want to get that to the lab absolutely quick.
Let me know if you find anything else.
The officer gives me the license plate of the vehicle, and it comes back to Tamika Williams.
Tamika Williams has no criminal history. This is a straight citizen that pays taxes and owns a car. Never been in trouble with the police. But Kenny takes it a step further. He starts researching Tamika Williams' social media presence.
Who was driving your car?
I searched her on social media and just go through friends.
Detective Thompson sees that Tamika Williams has a friend in her social media profile that has an unusual name.
It said Nut Gang, and when you click on those three dots in the right corner, it shows their real name that they sign up with, which was Darion Jameson.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me right now? This right here is God's work. I mean, what are the odds?
Yes.
The exact guy who Detective Thompson is looking for is somehow associated with the owner of the car, Tamika, whose car just got wrapped around a telephone pole. So now the question is Darion Jameson the driver of the car that got away?
Hello?
Is this Tamika?
Yeah.
Detective Thompson needs to get with Tamika ASAP.
I need you to come to my office for an interview.
This system may be able to bring this case home.
Yeah, that's him.
Detective Thompson has just learned the identity of Hayshawn Collins' killer, 17-year-old Darion Jameson.
The suspect fled on foot.
While searching for Darion, he's called to assist on a totally unrelated police chase.
Dispatch, I've recovered a firearm.
I just continued to work the case, and it's like a miracle happened.
Oh my God.
Detective Thompson finds out that the owner of the vehicle, Tamika Williams, has some kind of relationship with Darion Jameson.
I need you to come to my office for an interview.
He needs Tamika to give up the tapes on how they're connected.
Okay, I'll come in.
See you soon.
This is straight out of a Hollywood script, and we're about to get that big movie ending.
Who is this?
My impression of her, she seemed at first like, you know, she didn't really want to give a lot of information.
Look, I'm working a homicide here.
All right, that's Peanut.
She says, that's the guy that was driving my car. I'm dating his dad. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, if this is the guy that they're saying from the tip, We have a gun, and that gun was a 9mm, so I'm like extra interested now.
We found the gun.
I don't know nothing about that.
How can I find him?
I don't know.
According to Tamika, Darian just took her car keys without permission.
I believe everything Tanika was telling me.
I need you to call me if you see him.
All right.
As far as the investigation is concerned, actually feeling pretty good at this moment. I feel like I'm on the right track.
Now that Detective Thompson knows that these two events are related, he can take that 9mm and compare it to the 9mm shell casings found at the crime scene and see if it indeed is his murder weapon.
Anything on the gun?
No, not yet.
The gun's at the lab, and that's gonna take a while for those results to come back. I feel pretty confident enough to go ahead and generate an arrest warrant for Darian Jamerson, which is really big for me.
Within a couple of days, Darian Jamerson is tracked down, brought to the homicide office for questioning.
He declined to make a statement. Kind of seemed very like nonchalant, like it wasn't a big deal while he was in there. I wasn't surprised that he didn't want to talk about it. Whenever I have a suspect that's nonchalant like that, they don't value life, and they really don't care about the consequences that come with it either. And to me, that's a very dangerous person.
Even after a suspect is arrested, that doesn't mean the case is over.
This is Kenny.
We're still working the case.
Hey, the ballistics report is done.
Yes.
That actual 9mm found at a car chase is the murder weapon, and he's tied all this together? That's crazy.
We also have the suspect's DNA results.
Thank you.
His DNA came back to a match on the firearm as well.
He conclusively has proved that that gun was in the hand of his #1 murder suspect, and that weapon was used to kill his victim.
Detective Kenny Thompson, he don't need no confession. The gun just confessed to this murder.
The night of the homicide, you have Hayshawn Collins' group, and you have Darian Jamerson's group. They're at the same hotel. They don't know each other. One of the members from Hayshawn Collins' group has some kind of friendly verbal interaction with the female from the suspect's group. Whether it was, a personal relationship or just a close female friend, they described him as watching over her and watching them like a guard dog.
The action spills outside just like the witnesses reported, and Darian was still hot.
He pretty much said he felt disrespected, and after the two agreed to squash it, face to face, and they shook hands and dapped up. But as the victims are walking off, Darian starts to shoot at him. I believe he just wanted to prove a point because he made a statement, "Don't think you ain't checking me." He wanted to keep that image up and show him that, he meant business and he didn't play.
Darian Jamerson is charged with second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder.
In 2022, Darian goes to trial and is convicted on all counts. And he's sentenced to 85 years in prison. I gotta tell you, I am personally impressed with your work. You did a great job in this case. I can imagine the citizens and all the families that you touch are very appreciative because I can see it.
Thank you. Yeah, most definitely, brother. Thank you.
This case, when I think about the aftermath of what happened, Hayshawn, who did nothing but really try to protect his family, and he paid for that with his life. And that's the saddest part of this whole story.
The saddest part of that commentary also is the fact that this is a commonplace situation that Vince and I dealt with for almost 20 years. Beef over absolutely nothing.
We have 3 black male victims.
on December 13, 2006, we received a call from Atlanta Medical Center about a delayed death. A delayed death is when a victim dies days, weeks, or months after the incident actually occurred.
In this case, the victim was severely injured in a carjacking about a month prior. Now we'll have to run down clues to figure out who took this man's car and caused the significant injuries that led to his death.
At the office, our sergeant gets us up to speed on the case.
What's up, Sergeant?
Gentlemen, meet Vernon Rouse, 55 years old. He was a janitor.
We actually get a picture of this brother, a man that worked hard, served his community well, and got killed in the process.
What are the details?
Stops at a gas station.
We find out that our victim, Vernon Rouse, on November 17, 2006, had stopped off to fill the tank in his brand new SUV.
All we know is he was attacked.
Anybody see anything?
We had one witness. His name is Michael Young.
A guy named Michael Young's at the gas station, walking out, sees our victim, Vernon Rouse, laying on the ground by the gas pumps, and he's the one that called 911. A Zone 4 officer quickly responds to the scene.
Dispatch, I need an ambulance immediately.
He finds Vernon Rouse laying right next to the island where you pump the gas, unable to move.
My whole body is numb.
He can't feel anything from the chest down, but he is communicating with the officer, saying that he just has no feeling in his body.
Okay, the ambulance will be here shortly.
Okay. Did Vernon say what happened?
He got cracked.
Some unknown person walks up, hits him in the back of the head, and leaves him incapacitated right there on the gasoline island.
And we know that his head struck that concrete right where he was laying, which caused his spinal cord injury and his paralysis.
So 1 minute he's pumping gas, and then in the blink of an eye, he's a quadriplegic.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
To just stop off, fill his car, and get struck, and his life changes forever.
All right, what do we know about our suspect?
Not much, unfortunately.
Hey, did you see who hit you?
He was black, sounded young, but I didn't see his face.
He couldn't give a really accurate description of who struck him.
Afterwards, the assailants took off in Mr. Rouse's new SUV.
We have to look at motive and why this happened to Vernon Rouse. Why was he the intended victim? So he's got a brand new car. That's the shiny nickel. Everybody wants it.
He must have had a target on his back. In that area, brand new whip, forget it.
Yeah. Mr. Rouse was taken to the hospital. The officers there cleared the scene.
He doesn't see the car, doesn't see anything suspicious, writes his report, and goes back in service.
Yeah, but that was 3 weeks ago.
Uh-huh. Mr. Rouse never left the hospital. It says here, cause of death is blunt force trauma associated with spinal cord contusion.
This is felony murder all day long. The felony being a robbery, and Vernon Rouse dying as a result of that.
All right, let's clean this sucker up.
There had to be a robbery investigator assigned to this case who's probably got a treasure trove of information to give us. He may have already developed the suspect.
Who was the original detective on this case?
There's your rub. It was Carpenter.
This is everything?
That's it.
Nothing had been done. We're pissed.
Yo, brother, it says here that Carpenter was sending mail to the victim's house, and the brother wasn't even home.
Right.
Let me see that.
He even left a voicemail on the phone that had been collected as evidence.
He's calling the victim's cell phone, not knowing that the phone is in property. Had he just looked at the property sheet, he would have noticed that the phone is not even in the victim's possession.
Yo, he had no idea Vernon was in the hospital the whole time.
He could have went and spoke to this victim and got some more information, but now we're 30 days behind.
The guy didn't even know Vernon was dead.
His family deserves more, man.
This detective had an opportunity to go out, make a relationship with this victim, and probably give him some kind of service before his death. Nothing was done.
So the vehicle was never reported missing?
No. It was brand new, so we only had the temporary tags.
But Carpenter could have at least found the VIN and put it in the system.
I agree.
At this point, Vernon Rouse's car is ghost. For 30 days, this car has probably been traveling around Atlanta, who knows doing what. These guys could be committing other crimes in this car.
So we're basically starting from scratch here? Yes. Campbellton Road?
Hey, somebody's got to clean this mess up, right?
We're gonna do what me and Vin do. We're gonna go back to the scene and act like day one starts when we roll up there to see what happened at that gas station.
Quinn and I roll up to this gas station at the corner of Campbellton Road and Childress Drive. This gas station is like one of like none. You go a mile in either direction and that's it.
So this where it happened, right here.
Hit his head there. So I'm thinking somebody wanted the vehicle and they just waited for the right time.
They were probably surveilling him. They probably waited for the car to get filled with gas. And when the opportunity was right, they struck and they took that vehicle.
Vinny, I'm telling you, those dealer tags, that's what set him up.
If you're gonna steal a car, you want a car with a dealer's tag on the back of it because the police can't readily run that tag to even check to see if it's stolen.
Q. What do you think?
Hey, it's worth the try. Let's see what's up.
We already know what we're gonna do. We're gonna go inside and talk to these people and try to get some video footage.
What's up, man?
Hey, brother. We need to ask you a few questions, all right? Do you remember a guy that was carjacked here about a month or so ago?
Yeah, but the attendant that was working that day didn't see anything.
What about the cameras?
They're broken and have been for a while.
They're basically dummies, just to deter crime.
All right, let's canvass the neighborhood. All right, thank you.
People that frequent this store frequent it often. So who knows what we're gonna run into? Somebody could have seen something that day.
We're out there canvassing the Campbellton Road area, and there's one guy walking down the middle of the road.
Hey, brother. Yo. Talk to you real quick. We're detectives with APB.
We stop him. We just want to get some names, something for a pad, just to show that we're doing some work that day.
What's your name?
Michael Young. You kidding?
We had one witness. His name is Michael Young.
We're like, bam! Michael Young is the same name that's listed on the original police report that our detective in robbery never even dealt with.
Yo, you're just the brother we're looking for, man. You know that?
This is a God moment.
The man assaulted at the gas station.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually seen our victim many times before. He's a regular in the neighborhood.
I saw that guy pumping gas when I went inside to get some smoke.
Did you see anyone else out there?
Nah.
He said when he came out, he sees him on the ground and the car he was filling up with gas was gone.
You saw who took his ride?
No. But I have seen the vehicle a few times since then.
What?
I feel like we hit jackpot with Michael Young.
You sure?
No doubt.
That's crazy. We want to find out what else he knows.
All right, tell me everything, brother. Break it down.
The road to justice will be long and winding.
Little Marcus, Little Black, and Cordell.
We got more names to look at than an Atlanta phone book.
Yo, check it out. I got a hot receipt.
We may see this killer's face in living color until a crazy lead.
Your son can play.
Forces us in a totally new direction.
I made the whole story up.
We thought we knew exactly what was going on, but boy, were we wrong.
Give me them keys.
Leading to the unlikeliest suspect.
We're dealing with a baby-faced killer.
Did Vernon say what happened? He got cracked.
We're working the delayed death homicide of 55-year-old Vernon Rouse, who was brutally attacked during a carjacking at a gas station.
This is it.
That's it.
3 weeks later, we find out Vernon Rouse died from blunt force trauma associated with a spinal cord contusion.
So we're basically starting from scratch here.
Hey, somebody's got to clean this mess up, right?
We return to Campbellton Road and we meet Michael Young.
Yo!
The person that actually made the original 911 call.
You saw who took his ride?
No.
Although Michael Young didn't actually witness the assault, He dropped a bombshell when he told us he's seen the victim Chevy after the assault driving around the neighborhood.
When was the last time you saw it?
Maybe a week after it happened.
That narrows down our timeline. Did you take a look at who was driving?
Uh-huh. A whole crew of boys. Little Marcus, Little Black, and Cordell.
Michael Young doesn't know their real names or where they live, but he knows they're from the neighborhood.
They always out here running wild.
He says these are just teenagers, barely in high school.
It's kids. That makes sense.
We had so many groups of children divided up into little gangs, and they would take these cars and use them in other crimes.
The car probably got too hot, so they dumped it for a new one.
Whoever took Vernon Rouse's car, likely 30 days later, they're probably not in it anymore.
You see these young hoppers around here again, you give me a call ASAP, all right?
I will.
Thank you, brother.
We thank Michael Young, good information, and we keep trucking.
Thanks, man.
Running into Michael Young was a blessing because we had nothing. He provided some names we could work with, so this was actually a great start to the case.
If juveniles are actually involved in Vernon's murder, we need to be very careful. The law says we can treat them just like they're adults, but that doesn't always work well in court.
Juries and sometimes judges can be really sympathetic.
And if they think cops overreach or put the kids in a situation that just wasn't fair, it can jeopardize the whole case.
We decided to pivot at the moment and focus on trying to find Vernon's vehicle. The fact that it was never reported stolen is a huge problem. We're hoping the victim's family can help us out.
Me and Vin go decide to meet with the victim's sister with our hat in hand.
We want to start off by saying we're sorry.
Nobody's contacted my family before, and now you show up.
She's looking at us like we crazy and like, what are y'all here for? But we understand that. It's been a month since she's even heard from the police department.
And there's no excuse for that. But that's in the past. We're here to move this forward, okay?
We apologize for the actions of this first detective. No matter what mistakes he made, we got it now, and you have nothing to worry about.
I appreciate you.
So tell us about your brother.
Vernon was a very kind and caring man. He worked the night shift as a janitor.
This is a working class guy who worked hard. He saved his money to buy a brand new car. And here we are, talking to his sister about what happened to him.
Sister, we're trying to locate his vehicle. Do you know where he purchased it?
Let me check his stuff. I think I saw something in his paperwork.
Because this car was brand new when it was stolen, it never had a license plate.
Gotta get that VIN.
This VIN number is the only identifiable feature of this vehicle.
I think this is what you're looking for?
This is perfect.
We got the VIN.
All the purchase information for Vernon's car is in the folder. That's the jackpot moment for us.
Thank you. This is a tremendous help.
We head off to do the police stuff.
Hey, Doc. What up, man? Hey, can you run a VIN for me, brother?
As soon as we leave, I'm so excited, I just go ahead and run the VIN number.
You kidding me? We got the vehicle.
Police dispatch comes back and tells us that car is actually in police impound. We had the car all along.
Beautiful. All right, thank you.
What happened?
Yes. All right, so it got picked up as an abandoned auto, November 22nd. That's 5 days after our carjacking.
This is great. This is the next step in moving the needle forward.
Ready to start collecting some evidence?
My specialty.
Let's do it, baby.
Come on.
My mind is going like crazy because all I can think about is opening them doors and seeing what we got inside.
So we beat a line straight over to the impound lot.
All right, let's get to work.
Where all the police vehicles are put for impound.
We're looking around in the car. We see all this stuff in there.
We got a rap mix CD.
Wow, man. Looks like they had a party up in this sucker.
In our minds, we believe these items inside the car aren't the items left behind by Vernon Rouse.
We could probably get prints off this stuff.
This is a treasure chest of information inside this car. I can't wait to get forensics all over it.
Oh. Check this out.
Woohoo. Money.
I see a handgun. This is a great find.
Feels weird.
This gun is heavy. Feels real, but as I take a closer look and I turn it around, I realize this isn't a real gun. It's a BB gun.
Ain't no way there's a bullet coming out of there.
Yeah, man, but it looks real enough, bruh.
We know now this is a BB gun, but this looks like the gun I got right on my side already.
Could have been used on Vernon.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, whoa, wait a minute. We knew this car was stolen from our victim. So we gotta think that the people that stole this car may have hit him in the head with this gun.
I'm digging through, this jumbled up mess that's been accumulated inside Vernon Rouse's car. It looks like it's been trashed.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yo, I just struck gold, baby.
This is amazing. This was gonna be the end of the case.
Check out the timestamp on this puppy, man. We're sorry.
Families left behind were first and foremost. They become our family.
Now you show up.
This lead detective that had the robbery to begin with, his transgressions fall on us. So we have to come with this mea culpa and ask for forgiveness.
And there's no excuse for that.
And then start to build the trust that we know we need in them to help solve their loved one's case.
You kidding me? You got the vehicle.
The Vernon Rouse carjacking and murder investigation is starting to heat up. A month after Vernon Rouse was attacked, we located his vehicle at an APD impound lot.
Check this out.
Woohoo. While searching for evidence, we find a BB gun that easily passes for the real thing.
We gotta wonder, this was probably used to hit Mr. Rouse in the back of the head. Then, my eyes quickly land on an even bigger discovery.
Yo, I just struck gold, baby.
This is amazing. This is another lead.
Yo, check it out. I got a hot receipt.
We find a fast food receipt for November the 18th at 2:30 in the morning.
Check out the timestamp on this puppy, man.
That's not long after.
If we look at our timeline with the original police report, that's just 3 hours under the time Vernon Rouse was actually attacked.
You think what I'm thinking?
Check out the fast food joint.
That's right.
Come on.
We're gonna head out to the restaurant where this transaction happened and see who made the purchase.
How you doing?
Hey, sister, we need to speak to you, okay?
When we get to the restaurant, we show the receipt and we meet the actual employee that made the transaction.
Trying to locate a couple young bucks would have came through your drive-thru on the evening of November 18th. Would have been late at night. They would have paid cash, and they were driving this SUV right here.
We showed this young girl an actual photograph of the 2006 Chevy Equinox, but she's drawing a blank.
I don't recognize it at all.
Nah.
This is straight up goose egg situation. She remembers nothing.
All right. Thanks for trying.
We're not surprised, but you gotta go out there. You gotta be diligent. You gotta, cross off these boxes as you go.
What about surveillance video? We saw a camera at the drive-thru.
We record over it daily.
True to form is what we're used to. There's no video. We're 30 days out. So we have absolutely nothing right now.
Thank you for your time.
No worries.
Thank you, sister.
You're welcome.
We head back to the office and shift gears. We want to know how Vernon's vehicle ended up in our Atlanta police impound lot in the first place. We pulled the police report that was actually made by an Officer Mack.
Mac works on the auto theft task force. We reach out to him and set up a meeting to see if he's got anything that could help our case.
Hey, brother, what up?
The auto theft task force is a specialized unit. All they do is go through the city looking for stolen cars.
What happened?
We were on patrol. We see his SUV. They're swerving all over the road.
They spot a Chevy Equinox driving erratically with a drive-out tag. Their experience tells them that's probably a stolen car.
I can see there's a crew of dudes in the car.
A crew? How many?
4, 5. I get behind them, hit my lights.
So when Detective Mack hit his blue lights and siren, these people just hit the gas and took off.
Okay.
We're thinking this is probably our guys that attacked Vernon Rouse, still in his vehicle. And they know it's a stolen car, and that's why they're running from Officer Mack.
But please tell me you caught these jokers.
Sorta.
The vehicle comes to an abrupt stop About a half a block from our crime scene at Childress and Campbellton, several young black males all exit the vehicle running in different directions.
Me and my partner, we run two of the guys down. They're teenagers.
Could be them boys Michael Young was mentioning.
What happened next?
Well, we figured the car is stolen. But when I run it, it doesn't come back in the system.
The car, in all accounts, legally is not stolen.
These kids got lucky.
This crime could have been solved in less than 5 days if the car had just been entered onto the system. But that didn't happen here.
Cortez Todd. DeMarcus Daniels, both 16.
DeMarcus. That sounds familiar. DeMarcus.
I gotta think back to what Michael Young said, our 911 caller.
I saw the SUV out here on Campbellton Road.
When he says he saw 3 people in the car.
Little Marcus, Little Black, and Cordell.
Could Little Marcus be DeMarcus Daniels?
Yo, it's starting to add up.
These kids locked up?
No, I had to release them to their parents.
The juvenile authorities wouldn't take in either DeMarcus Daniels or Cortez Todd because they were just traffic charges related to running from a vehicle.
You got any phone numbers for any of the parents?
The phone number of DeMarcus' mom.
We got to get on these streets hard and find out how these kids got a stolen car.
We'll have a seat, man.
An unlikely source will help move the case forward.
You recognize this vehicle? I don't think so.
Quit playing around, boy.
This joker thought he could play us.
But to get to the truth,
your son can play.
We'll first need to peel back a shocking layer of this investigation. He was living a double life.
Now, James was the one that was running the show.
Me and my partner, we run two of the guys down.
We've just identified 2 possible suspects in the carjacking murder of Vernon Rouse.
Cortez Todd. DeMarcus Daniels, both 16.
The juveniles were caught driving Vernon's stolen SUV.
It's starting to add up, man.
Early in the investigation, we had a person who identified one of the occupants of the vehicle as Lil Marcus. Could Lil Marcus be DeMarcus Daniels?
Phone number for DeMarcus' mom.
We got to talk to him and find out exactly what's going on here.
Thank you.
You don't want to appear that you're taking advantage of these children. The court frowns on treating children like adults when they're doing adult crimes, even though the law says you can.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, sorry to bother you. This is Detective David Quinn with Atlanta Police Department Homicide.
You want their parent, if they're available, or some responsible adult, to sit there like an attorney.
We're investigating a homicide, and it could potentially involve your son.
No, ma'am. This is urgent.
We get no arm twisting from the mother of DeMarcus Daniel. Her name is Felicia Daniels. We're going to tell her what's going on. Hopefully get the answers.
Gotta work.
Thank you, man.
See you soon, sister. She's on her way.
She brings the boy straight down to the homicide office. We sit down and try to chop it up.
Well, let's have a seat. Appreciate you for coming in. All right? Look, we just want to ask you some questions about a case that we're working, okay?
I'm not trying to bust this kid for murder off the giddy up.
That's why we came in.
Yeah. All right. You recognize this vehicle? I don't think so.
He's not spilling his guts on this stolen car. We got to give DeMarcus' mom credit. Like, she's keeping her son on track.
Quit playing around, boy.
Actually, I was in that car. My boy Cortez was driving.
DeMarcus Daniels admits to riding in the car not just one time, but several times.
The car was used for rips and whatnot.
He knew what it was getting used for. Petty thefts all up and down Campbellton Road. He just wasn't directly involved in any of the crimes.
Who else was in the car with you?
Big Boy, Little Man, and Cordell.
And we quickly realized Cordell, that's another name we got from Michael Young.
Hey, who stole the car in the first place?
I don't know.
Tell the truth.
I swear, I don't know.
You swear?
Yes.
Me and Vin make the decision. We're going to end this interview.
Okay. We appreciate your time, Mama. Okay? Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.
If he's not telling the truth, our new best friend is his mama. We'll get him back in tow, and he'll be sitting down here at the homicide office again.
Let's run down some more names.
This information from DeMarcus is great. It puts us one step closer to trying to figure out exactly what happened. We just got to keep digging.
We decided to go after Cordell, who we identified as Cordell Davis. We scoop up him and his mama and bring him to the station.
The interview goes down just like the one with DeMarcus. Cordell admits to being in the car, says the same names, but says he doesn't know anything about the carjacking.
Since we don't have a real name for Big Boy or Lil Man, we go after Cortez Ty.
We track down his mother, Ashley, and tell her we need to speak to her son about a stolen car.
She's got this puzzled, confused look on her face and says that Cortez doesn't stay with her. She said he lives in the suburbs of Fulton County with his AAU basketball coach. But Ashley agrees to go with us to pick him up.
According to Ashley, her son Cortez, he's like this basketball phenomenon.
Let's practice a little 2-on-2.
He is living with his coach, grooming him. He's got aspirations to go to the NBA. For all accounts, this does not sound like the kid we're looking for.
Your son can play.
Yeah,
This kid is exactly what his mom said he was.
the coach takes care of him, put him in a good situation.
She's got some challenges in her life, and she just discloses to me that the coach kicks her a few dollars here and there.
Just reset it. Exactly what you guys did a while ago. He's gonna come out.
Cortez, come over here, honey.
What's up, Mom?
These men, they want to speak with you.
Cortez was cool with it. He actually told his coach he'd be back later. He jumps in the car, and we all head back to the homicide office.
All right, y'all. Come on in, have a seat.
We don't want to overwhelm this kid, so Quinn goes in the interview room by himself, and I watch from the surveillance room.
All right, now, can I grab you any water? Any snacks, anything like that?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
I'm watching this interview take place, and Cortez Ty is just cool, calm, and collected.
Nah, look, brother.
I get right to it. I go straight to Front Street.
Need to ask you about this SUV right here. You recognize this puppy right here?
I drove it around a few times till the cops ran me down.
He's just sitting in that room like it's just a walk in the park. Not a worry in the world.
My coach lets me leave sometimes, you know. I hang out with my boys, and we just like to mix it up.
Cortez Ty admits to being involved in some petty robberies, and he paints the picture that he actually has two lives.
Well, young brother, the thing is that the owner of this vehicle is dead. Now, what you know about it?
I'm trying to find facts, and Cortez Ty drops a bombshell on me.
I was there the night the car was stolen.
We have somebody in the box right now that's gonna put some pieces of this puzzle together.
Yeah? All right, now, can I grab you any water? Any snacks? Anything like that? No, I'm good. You sure?
I'm interviewing 16-year-old Cortez Ty, a potential suspect in the carjacking murder of Vernon Rouse.
So I need to ask you about this SUV right here. You recognize this puppy?
I drove it around a few times.
I expected him to be a little cagey, but he wasn't. This kid was acting like he was having a conversation with his buddies at the park.
That the owner of this vehicle is dead.
Suddenly, Cortez makes a shocking confession.
I was there the night the car was stolen.
I thought I was gonna have to pull this out of him with a crowbar, and he just drops it on the table like fresh meat.
All right, tell me what happened.
I just can't wait to hear what he's got to say about it.
It was me and James.
James. Who's that? That's one of your buddies?
Just some older dude from the neighborhood.
Cortez Ty goes on to say that he was actually with an adult who he only knows goes by the name James.
He's like 5'8", 160, dark skinned.
Said it was all James's idea to do the lick.
Now, James was the one running the show. I was just on the sidelines.
I mean, at this point, Cortez may be our witness if James really did do all the dirt here against Vernon Rouse.
Okay. How'd it go down?
We were looking for a car.
According to Cortez, James says, look at that old man over there filling his car up. Let's wait till he finishes getting his gas, and let's grab the car.
We waited until we heard the click that the tank was full, and then we moved in.
they rushed Vernon Rouse as he's trying to get into his vehicle. According to Cortez Ty, James strikes Vernon Rouse in the back of the head with a gun. He falls to the ground, and there's still a struggle for the keys, and inadvertently, they both fall on his body. They grab the keys from him, and they haul ass up out of there in the car.
That old dude started standing up, so we just jumped in the SUV and dipped.
We know that's impossible because Vernon Rouse was paralyzed. He wasn't trying to get up.
So the old man was standing up when you were leaving. You saw that with your own eyes?
Yep.
Cortez was probably trying to get some sympathy, like he was still concerned for the victim's health and well-being after he got hit in the head. We may not believe Cortez is telling the truth about Vernon, but we do think James could be the ringleader.
I gotta find out if we got an adult out here that's improperly influenced this kid.
All right. Hey, thank you for your cooperation, okay?
Possibly charge him, and we may keep Cortez Ty out of this whole case. If the adults, they're heavy, you know, we'll use Cortez Ty as a witness.
Look, I'll give y'all both a ride home now, all right? Come on.
Based on everything Cortez Ty has told us so far, we gotta track down this guy named James.
Now it's gonna be a needle in a haystack the size of Campbellton Road to find out who he is. But his name is James, and we got a basic description from Cortez Ty.
We may get lucky if we pull photos of the usual suspects in the area of Campbellton Road committing these same types of crimes.
Over the next week, we scoured the database for photos. We checked every derivative of James you could find, and there was a mess of them.
We printed them all out to show Cortez. This is a unique situation. We're not putting together a 6-person photo lineup.
We're gonna go out there old school with a shoebox full of photos to show him pictures of guys named James.
They're about the same age and physical description that Cortez gave us, so we're gonna see if he recognizes one of them.
Once again, we scoop up Cortez's mother and roll to the coach's house.
All right, young brother, here's the program. Take a look in this box and tell me if you see your boy James in there, all right?
So me and Vin, we're amped. We got a box full of photos. We're gonna sit here and let this kid leaf through these photos and see if we can pick a winner.
What's up?
He's not in there.
I'm like, what are you hiding?
The whole story's fake, okay? James isn't real.
Are you just the only person involved in this thing, or is there somebody else that you're trying to protect?
So, here's what's happening now. We need you to start telling us what's going on. We need you to start saying facts.
It was really my homie Big Boy.
Marcus mentioned him.
Cortez Ty says the other accomplice he had with him was a guy named Big Boy, who he knows and known for years. His real name is Kamari Carter.
He's the one that beat that old guy up.
He's making Big Boy the person who actually hit Vernon Rouse in the head.
How old is this Big Boy guy?
It's like 2 years younger than me.
That's what I'm saying, man. Who? Come on. Who you think you playing with, dog?
How's a 14-year-old gonna be a mastermind in a major carjacking that resulted in a murder? So we're looking at Cortez Ty both cross-eyed and sideways at this point.
Look, I'm being serious, okay?
You being serious?
I'm telling the truth. I have no reason to lie.
It seemed like this kid had just caught Jesus.
I just want to do the right thing.
I think me and Vin made some kind of connection with both Cortez and his mother, and he felt like he needed to tell us the truth.
All right, let's see what we can dig up on Big Boy.
Sure.
It's time to go pull his rap sheet, find out who he is, and possibly get another interview with him immediately.
So we go back to the office because we need to run this name Kamari Carter.
All right, I'm in the juvenile system.
There you go, baby. Work your magic.
There we go. All right, I got a report.
As soon as I punch this thing into the computer, I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Oh, my God.
Holy...
This is unbelievable.
What? The story was all a giant lie.
The whole story's fake, okay? James isn't real.
The Vernon Rouse murder case has been turned upside down.
After Cortez Ty finally admits that he just made up the name James and he just doesn't exist, he implicates his really good friend, Kamari Carter, also known on the street as Big Boy.
Here we go.
A quick search through the database on Big Boy reveals a shocking discovery.
This is unbelievable.
What? After all this running around, after made-up names, dead end after dead end, we find out Cortez Ty has now implicated a suspect that's now dead. You can't make this stuff up.
Well, I guess we can't talk to Big Boy.
Yo, when did he die?
November 27th. 10 days after the carjacking.
According to the report, it starts with Kamari harmlessly ordering a pizza delivery.
That's a large cheese apartment too?
Yeah. The pizza driver gets there, he delivers the pizza, and at that point, Big Boy produces a handgun.
Give me them keys. He was trying to steal a new set of wheels.
So after Vernon Rouse's car was impounded by the cops, these guys needed a new ride. They had to look for a new victim.
Start walking.
You know, Big Boy already got the car, and that wasn't enough.
Wait, hold on. I want that phone too.
The pizza driver, feeling like he escaped death the first time when he gave up his car keys, he feels in his mind he's not going to survive this second encounter. He produces his own handgun. He shoots and kills Kamari Carter right on scene.
Okay, it looks like he was cleared of charges for self-defense, justifiable homicide.
Cortez knew Big Boy was dead.
100%. 100%. He spun us, Vinny.
He's a solid cold manipulator. That's what's up with this kid.
I just want to do the right thing.
He's way smarter than we gave him credit for in the beginning.
He's thinking, okay, if I put this on a dead dude, boom, I'm scot-free.
I guess he doesn't know about felony murder.
Doesn't matter whether Big Boy's alive at this point. He admitted to what his participation was in the robbery of Vernon Rouse. So he's still on the hook.
I'll go ahead and whip up an arrest warrant for Mr. Cortez Ty here. Bring him in.
Cool.
With all the evidence, we have a pretty good idea of what happened the night that Vernon Rouse was attacked. We believe Cortez and Big Boy were at the gas station hunting for a car to steal.
Those kids were watching for the next available victim. And now you had not only a victim, but a victim with a brand new car and a drive-out tag. It's like all the worst ingredients that could have been mixed in that particular situation that day.
Based off all the evidence, we have to conclude that Cortez Ty, he was actually the heavy, the primary aggressor in this armed robbery. He used the BB gun as an object to disable Vernon Rouse. Vernon Rouse was alive when they pulled off. But regardless of that, they committed a crime that caused his slow but serious death situation.
On January 9th, 2007, Cortez Ty is arrested for the armed robbery and felony murder of Vernon Rouse.
Cortez Ty really believed he could blame the dead man and get away with the ultimate crime. But his energy and his forthcoming nature just led to his conviction. In 2008, he is convicted and sentenced to life without parole.
Gentlemen, meet Vernon Rouse.
I really regret that if we had gotten a chance to even speak with Vernon Rouse, we could have at least let him go to his grave, know someone cared and was working on the case from the Atlanta Police Department.
So we're here to move this forward, okay?
That's gonna be the saddest part of this case.
Your son can play.
Cortez Ty was a promising young man. He had a future, but he also had some demons.
Just the viciousness and the egregiousness of this young man who took his life, 16 years old, his whole life ahead of him, who takes a 55-year-old's life just for 5 days in a brand new car. Doesn't seem fair to me.